What's good, people? It's your boy Persona, gaming with Persona, and one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. And yo, man, we doing this Cult of the Lamb review. I know, finally, right, guys? I know it's been so long coming, but we're finally here, and let's get straight into it. So listen, man, Cult of the Lamb is a game developed by Massive Monsters and published by Devolver Digital. I really am enjoying this game. I've enjoyed this game very much. It was very fun and very addictive. And funny enough, I actually wasn't going to pick this up originally. I had passed on the game, not because the game looked bad. I thought the game looked very fun and very engaging. But you know, with the backlog and everything else that we got on the horizon, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait on this. I'm not gonna jump at this right away, right? But then I remember, I think it was maybe a couple days before the game released, that I was like, you know what? I really want to play this, man. It looks really interesting. It really grabbed my attention. So I was like, you know what? Let's grab this. Let's pick this up and let's put some time into it, right? And lo and behold, I picked this up and I ended up putting about 25 hours into this game. That's how fun it is. That's how addictive it is. You get what I'm saying? That's how much I was enjoying the experience. So, just a quick premise of what this game is, right? So Cult of the Lamb is a mix between a roguelike and like a build 'em up type of Sims style type of game. Like I'm not even kidding, because on one hand you're going through levels like what you see in the gameplay here, where you're fighting enemies and you're trying to build your cult and things like that, and get resources and defeat the main enemies of the game. But then on the other hand, when you get back to your cult, when you build up your cult and you get cult leaders and things like not cult leaders but cult followers, you tend to have to make sure that they're happy, make sure that they're fed, make sure that they get enough sleep, make sure they're doing their job. Like you could have different jobs and things like that you could have them doing. And, that's why this game is really interesting. I'm going to talk more about the actual cult side of things a little bit later in the video so that I can give you a good visual, right? But just a quick synopsis of the story of this game. So you are a lamb that's on the brink of being slaughtered. Actually, no, you are slaughtered or sacrificed, I should say. You get sacrificed, and once you're sacrificed, you go into like this underworld type area where you actually meet one of the bishops that was exiled from the group. And that bishop's name is the One Who Waits. And you essentially are brought back to life. You're given some of his powers, and your job is to go through the game and build up a cult in his name and build followers and build power so that you can free him from this underworld prison that he's in, that his other brothers and sisters, the other bishops, had put him in. So that's the premise of the game, like at a surface level. I don't want to give too much details. I definitely want you guys to check that out for yourselves. But one of the big things that, just like all roguelikes, you get power-ups and things like that, like you're seeing here with the tarot cards, right? So think of the tarot cards as your way of powering up in the game, right? That's how you get more abilities, or more add more hearts and more lives and things like that. That's how that works, where you have to build, you go through different rooms, and if it's a tarot card room, you choose a card that will be with you permanently through the rest of your run. So that's how that works with tarot cards. Now the other room, what you're seeing here, is the weapons and power upgrades room. So here, like I said, as you're going through your runs, you'll come across rooms like this where you'll be able to choose like a stronger weapon, and you'll be able to choose even stronger weapons than that as you go through the level. And as you level up your cult, you'll be able to choose and have much stronger weapons. What you're seeing here is like a heart room, and so it's just what it sounds. If you're dying, or if you're on the brink of death and you see like a little heart symbol on one of the places where you can choose to go, this would be a room that I would definitely go to, because as you can see, there's a ton of different hearts, and you can fill up your life bar and things like that, and that's how that works. So now we're looking at this is the pretty much the choice area. This is how you would actually choose where you want to go. Now, once you choose a specific path, you have to stick to that path. And that's why I think it's pretty cool, because it's giving you a lot of freedom to choose where you want to go, right? But once you choose a specific area, you kind of are married to that path, and you have to choose that path. Now there'll be some like alternate paths you can kind of take, but ultimately they all will lead to the same place. Some will be treasure rooms. The sword symbol would be fighting, so obviously like what you see there is fighting. The heart room is right above it, right? There's question mark rooms and things like that, and then obviously the last one is the boss room. So this is where, you know, essentially you have to follow a path, and all paths leads to the boss. Now the way the boss room works is you have to go through a world 4 times and beat the sub bosses before you can be allowed to fight the main boss. That's how that works. And even when you're going through the main boss room, it's considered one of the hardest rooms, or one of the hardest areas in the game for each world, because it's got, you know, some of the toughest enemies. You know, it's a lot of zigzags and all this crazy stuff trying to get to the boss. You'll definitely, especially when you get to some of the harder worlds, you will definitely run into some problems where you'll be struggling a little bit. And as you see here, you see that the door symbol has filled up. That's because I beat all 4 of the sub bosses. So now the main door is unlocked, right? So now I can actually go in and fight the main boss, right? And with the bosses in this game, that's one of the interesting things about this game, is that, you know, not only are the enemies, now some of the enemies can be kind of slow, or like, you know, once you play the game enough, you'll kind of pick up on their patterns, right? But I think where the game gets really tough when you're fighting some of the regular enemies is the fact that they'll throw more enemies at you, but also throw a lot of obstacles in your way as well. So for example, you'll come into a room where there is rocks and boulders and stuff like that stops you from rolling out the way and rolling past enemy attacks. So, you know, you have to also destroy the rocks and all that so that you can get through. And then also the bosses. I definitely think the bosses are very tough. So I'm playing on hard difficulty. There is a harder difficulty than this, but even in the hard difficulty, the boss fights are definitely very tough, because as you can see in this gameplay here, the boss is throwing a lot at me, man. He's throwing projectiles. He's got different patterns, but also there's regular enemies that's also attacking me and like really, you know, trying to take me down. So though, you know, there's a lot on the screen that you're going to have to be paying attention to when you're fighting these bosses, and I think that's where the true challenge comes into place, because, you know, as you can see, like I started with like maybe 4 or 5 heart valves. Now I only got 2. Right? So it's one of those things where you are definitely going to have to really be mindful of, you know, your surroundings and have the right weapons. So one of the weapons that I'm using, as you can see, it's kind of a slower paced weapon. It's the axe. And, you know, although using some of the faster weapons in the game, I think is pretty good. Using the slow weapons, to me, like the axe or the hammer, although it might be slow and you need to be a bit more methodical in how you fight, the damage that you get from these weapons is so rewarding that it's worth using the slower weapons in this game, in my opinion, at least, right? I always found myself, I enjoyed myself a little bit more using the slower weapons, because I enjoyed that more methodical feel that the game kind of turned into when it came to the combat, especially when you're approaching boss battles like this. But also, like I said, the damage output, and even much later in the game with some of the weapons, you will get like a you'll get like a higher you'll get more abilities added to your weapon. So for example, you might get a weapon like a vampiric blade, where as you defeat enemies, it heals you, right? Or you'll get like a hammer where it will, you know, on death, or if you hit an enemy enough amount of times, it will inflict poison, right? And a lot of those upgrades that you'll get on weapons require you to build up your cult. So that's why the cult building is also just as important, if not more important, I feel in certain instances, than the actual roguelike portions of the game, because you really are nothing without your cult, right? And you see, I died right there, right? So, you know, as you can see, the boss battles are definitely very, very tough. But yo, I want to talk about the cult. So let's definitely talk about the cult and really dig into that area. So now let's talk about cult life, because I think your cult is one of the most important parts of the game. This is where you get all your cult members. This is how you get more materials to build different things within the cult. This is how you can power yourself up so that when you go on your runs in the different worlds, you're stronger, you're getting better gear, you're getting better powers and weapons and things like that, so that you're able to withstand some of the tougher enemies that you'll end up coming across when you actually do your runs. So one of the great things about the cult area of the game, or the cult portion, is it's very therapeutic. You get what I'm saying? It's very fun, and I think, in my opinion, this was the most addictive part of the game for me. Right? I enjoyed the runs. I enjoyed that roguelike aspect very much. You know, I'm not taking away from that, but I do think that what really pulled me in 100% was this cult area, because that's what I was most intrigued about. I'm like, all right, you're building up your own cult, you know, and you're doing this roguelike stuff. Like, how is this going to mix, and how is this going to work? Funny enough, the mix between the cult life and you building a cult and how they all play together into the roguelike portion, in my opinion, I think it actually fits extremely well. So one of the most important things that you have to keep in mind is you want to make sure that everyone in your cult is working, and you want to make sure that everyone is as many people are worshiping at this little statue in the middle. This statue in the middle is what helps you build better things for your cult, and the quicker the bar can get filled up, the more your main bar will also get filled up, and you'll be able to level up. It's like a level up for your cult. And when you get into this menu, what it allows you to do is it allows you to choose better structures that you can build within your cult to keep your cult members happy, and to keep and also to make your cult run more effective. Because once you get into like really high level play, you'll get some of these really good structures that you can build that really will keep your cult running, kind of being able to run itself. Like, for instance, you'll be able to get like porta potties so that your cult won't be pooping all over the floor. You'll be able to get a janitorial station where your cult will be able to clean up the cult area, right? You'll be able to get different structures like for farming, so that you can farm different foods and things like that, and vegetables and whatnot, so that you can cook better meals, because certain meals will make your cult followers sick or whatnot. You can also build medical labs, or medical tents, or whatever you want to call it, where if your cult members do get sick, they can go there by themselves and heal up much quicker than it would be to send them to bed, because sending them to bed would actually take longer to heal. One of the most important structures is this refinement structure that you're seeing right here. This is where you can convert like wood and regular pebbles and stone into actual boulders and planks and lumber and whatnot, so that you can build those stronger, better structures, because those structures take more different types of resources and materials and whatnot to build, more advanced resources to build. So, you know, it's really important that you stay on top of those things, because that is what's also, like I said, going to be very important to make sure that you build up your cult. And the reason why I think it goes so great hand in hand is because you need a specific number of cult followers to get into the specific worlds. So the first worlds you need, I think, like 5 or 4. Second worlds you need 7. Third world you need like 12, and the fourth world you need almost 20. You need about 18 or so, and then the last world, the fifth world, you need 20 followers. So, you know, you're not going to be able to get to that amount of followers if you're not keeping your followers happy and keeping them well fed and things like that. So it's very important, and there's a lot of micromanaging, especially in the beginning. The first 2 worlds or so, there's gonna be a lot of micromanaging, because you want to make sure that you're talking to all your followers and you getting them all doing a job. You want to make sure everyone is working. You don't want nobody lollygagging and whatnot. You want to make sure everybody's working, and you also want to make sure that they are actually they all have like a gift. So gifting is really important in this game because it helps level them up individually, and as you level up enemies, like by your cult, by giving them gifts and also doing like these funny cool dances with them like you're about to see me do here, it will level up their own personal progress bar, which will also increase their devotion to you. Now, one of the most important things is the sermons, crowns, and rituals. So what you're seeing here with the rituals is this is kind of how you can control what you want your cult to do, or if you want to do like a specific thing to build up faith really quickly or stop them from going hungry, you can have them go on like a 3-day fast. Especially if you're planning on farming within one of the worlds, doing a 3-day fast will really help to make sure that your cult isn't dying off while you're away, because obviously you did a ritual so that it'll stop them from going hungry. Now, the sermon is one of the most important ones because that is what also builds up devotion. It's like a separate devotion bar. It's dedicated more so to powering up you, right? So where you can choose, like you see here, you can choose different power-ups that you want to be able to get on your runs. So the more higher level power-ups you have, like you see, I got better curses, I got higher level weapons and things like that. So on your first couple of runs, you're going to be getting like, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 weapons. But as you build your cult up, as you build that devotion up through sermons that you can do every day, when you build those things up and you build those, you get those higher skills, they will allow you to get even stronger weapons on your runs. And then the crown, which is the crown that you wear on top of your head, you have to collect 3 tombstone tablets and connect them all together to be able to use the crown, so to speak, or power up the crown. And really what the crown does, there's multiple things with the crown. So the first one is you can add different attribute points into different sections for your cult. So there's like, there's law and work and order, I think it's law and order, there's starvation, there's afterlife, and all these different like main attributes. And when you choose one of those attributes that you want to level up, you can choose a specific ritual that you can pluck from that attribute level up, and that will go into your rituals and help benefit you when you're doing specific rituals for your specific cult to build them up. And then under the crown as well, you can also wear different cloaks and things like that that can power you up as well. So wearing like a specific cloak, like there's like a fortitude cloak where it fortifies your hearts, where your heart, you can take an additional hit before you lose a heart, right? Which I think is very important. Like I said, and you see right there, a cult member died. So yeah, like listen, the cult is very intuitive, man. There's a lot going on here in the cult. There's a lot that you'll be able to do, a lot of micromanaging. And like I said, this is the part of the game where I spent a lot of the time and was just really enjoying this time. I really enjoyed this game. I really love this game, man. Like, the only negatives that I have would be like there was some bug issues in my runs and things like that, but not anything outside of that. There wasn't anything else too major. If I had to give this game a score, man, I would definitely give this game an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a great game. I definitely think it's a game y'all should check out because, like I said, you will be pleasantly surprised. But listen, guys, I appreciate you guys, man, for coming through. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.